1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. It's good. Should be good. Alright, well, aloha there, and let's just finish this page up. Well, last time I checked, I talked about when it comes to how it works daily, weekly, monthly. I don't think there's a page for monthly, but pretty much we're right in the end, the cusp of things. And yeah, pretty much around here. Yeah, that's pretty much where I left off. Proleptic Gregorian calendar, yeah, when it comes to the months, then when it comes to the weeks. Now the days, no, I just remember when it came to this, but that's what I phrased it. Okay, you also have dual deity. Now I don't have to go through that, especially old style, new styles. Alright, well, since I'm finishing up, I figure I'll just start here. Let's check the time. Okay. Proleptic Gregorian calendar. Yeah, it talks about dates and stuff like that, as usual. But yeah, from what I... Okay. So this is its own topic, yeah. And this is its own topic that falls on to weeks? No. Okay, so it talks about the months, but also the days not included. Ugh. Well, I figure that the Proleptic Gregorian calendar could talk about anything that's pretty notable. Like one that always springs out is this paragraph. Shakespeare and Cervantes seemingly died on exactly the same day, 23rd April 1616, but Cervantes predestined Shakespeare by 10 days in real time, as Spain used the Gregorian calendar, but Britain used the Julian calendar. This coincidence encouraged UNESCO to make 23rd April the World Book of Copyright date. And it's such a weird mark thinking about that when it came to, well, talking about the overall history of how these calendars really confuse a bunch of people. Particularly those two, because the Julian calendar was a calendar everybody used way before the Gregorian calendar. And then there is this transition. It's very similar to pretty much comparing measurements from imperial to metric, because pretty much there's only very few countries that use imperial, and you would have to do this whole conversion things because of the rest of the world uses metric. So yeah, it's like saying that Shaq, who one day, let's say he passes away, and when it came to his body, everybody remembers him becoming a bit shorter in his elderly age, that people are confused, like, wait, is he this tall, or is he really that short? Because the rest of the world, they'd be like, oh shoot, this giant being like pretty much couple feet taller than the average American living in America is really that big or that short, depending on how they view it, just because of differences in measurements. Or you can sort of say that's the case with the Napoleon, but because the whole Napoleon thing was also just to put him down, just because it was a whole propaganda. But yeah, just talks about important dates and stuff. That was his topic. For months, yeah, I've gone through here, talks about Big Hill history, how everything is organized. Like February, 28 days is common, and 29 in leap years, from Latin minus Februaris, month of the Febra. The Roman festival of purgation and persecution, cognate with fever, the Etruscan death god Fabius Pitfer, and the Proto-Indo-European word for sulfur. but also it being one of the shortest months because of the whole cycle in the Gregorian calendars to make everything aligned. So yeah, it's confusing. And yeah, it talks about trivia and stuff like that. Variation, spirit, and Mother Goose continue to be taught at schools. The helpfulness of such involved metamux have been promoted as 13 days half September, but the rest I can't remember. Yeah, pretty much follows that. Okay. The same procedure can be done using the knuckles of a single hand, returning the last July to the 1st August and continuing through. A similar metamorph is to move up a piano keyboard in semitones from an F key, taking the white keys as the longer month and the black keys as the shorter ones. That's a that's a way to think about it. The knuckle metamorph for the days of the months of the year, but we don't really do this now. It's everything is so automated that when it comes to dates, but it's interesting how they would know. Everybody who been learning how to follow a calendar would just know it by heart, and they would know it because most likely they'll come in calendar with many places where people use different calendars. Unlike today, where most people who use different calendars are usually custom for custom reasons, and then you know they won't have any issues following a universal calendar because everybody uses universal calendar, even the people who follow different calendars. So there's that. Weeks. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I got it right through this. Now, not entirely. In conjunction with the systems. In conjunction with the systems of months, there's a system of weeks. A physical or electronic calendar provides conversion from a given date to a weekday and shows multiple dates for a given day. My bad. Weekday and month. Calculating the day of the week is not very simple because of the irregularities in the Gregorian system. When the Gregorian calendar was adopted by each country, the weekly cycle continued uninterrupted. For example, in the case of the few countries that adopted the reform calendar on the date proposed by Gregorian the 13th for the calendar's adoption, Friday, 15th October 1582. The preceding date was Thursday, 4th October 1582. Julian calendar. Opinions vary about the numbering of the days of the week. ISO 8601 in common use worldwide starts with Monday equals 1. Printed monthly calendar grids often listed Mondays in the first left column of the dates, and Sundays in the last. In North America, the week typically begins on Sunday and ends on Saturday, pretty much. All right, now we'll get to this territory. Still no. I'm still reflecting on what I went through when it comes to the weeks and months. And yeah. Also, I forgot to actually just look back physically instead of mentally in my mind so I could keep this habit of reviewing. So yeah, when it comes to conjunction with the months, there's a system weeks. Yeah, everything is follows, yada yada, along with the month's topic page or section of the page talks about each month along with how people would memorize it with the whole knuckle mnemonic trick, and then the important specific dates and things going on. So proleptic, I don't exactly know what proleptic is. I think there's a main article that talks more about it, so I think that's why I'm missing. So, proleptic Gregorian calendar is produced by extending Gregorian calendar backwards to its preceding the official introduction in 1582. So, proleptic, from my understanding from that one sentence, because we're going to move on, is that there is some changing in a system because of it being introduced, it fumbles everything. So think of it being a series of rules and actions in order to change up the system to transition fully, accurately, smoothly than what it did initially. It's like going to a front entrance and not making much of a fuss, trying to find a good transition to come in, even when it comes to coming in and then slowly backing out to go in properly. Alright. Now you have accuracy. Let me skim through this. Yeah, it talks about a bunch of the mumbo jumbo thing. Okay. Accuracy. The Gregorian calendar improves their approximation made by the Julian calendar by skipping 3 Julian leap days in every 400 years, giving an average year of that mean solar days long. This approximation has an error of about 1 day per 2,030 years. With respect to the main tropical year, because the person belongs, yeah. But any cryptocentric Gregorian calendar is subsequently more accurate than the 1 day in 128 years error. Alrighty. In the 19th century, Sir John Heschel proposed the modification of the Gregorian calendar with 969 leap days every 4,000 years instead of 970 leap days in that the Gregorian calendar would insert over the same period. This would reduce the average year of days. Herschel's proposal will make the year 4000 and multiplies thereof common instead of leap, while the modification has often been proposed since it has never been officially adopted. On the time scale of thousands of years, the Gregorian calendar falls behind the astronomical seasons. This is because the Earth's speed of rotation is gradually slowing down, which makes each day slightly longer over time, while the year maintains a more uniform duration. And I think that's the whole thing about that. Okay, so the Earth's speed of rotation is gradually slowing down. This page just talks about Earth's rotation. Too bad, I actually thought that would be its own page that talks more in detail of it, because I didn't know that. But it would make sense when it comes to maybe just have a different system that actually takes account of all these stuff. That goes to show how this calendar business can be quite a doozy. Calendar. When I pronounce it, it sounds so weird. I have to do this first. Calendar seasonal error. Calendar seasonal error. The image shows the difference between the Gregorian calendar and the astronomical seasons. The y-axis and the date in June, and the x-axis in Gregorian years. Yeah, each point along for the 4 distance and stuff like that. Okay, there's still no more. So leap shifting to Gregorian calendar, date of summer solstice for 500. So the calendar errors can come through this, where, yeah, from the 1800s to the 2200s, it's going to be a bit of a strange. I say it's going to be a bit of a strange way of people thinking about how to deal with calendars accuracy, but I mean, we do that now, so yeah. And this business is wacky. Okay, so going back to accuracy, well, yeah, it just talks about a new proposal because the accuracy of it is not that at all. So the way to become more accurate is just propose something else, like in an incision of something, like a change, and then the seasonal error follows all this that becomes a thing. Now you have proposed reforms. The following are proposed reforms of the Gregorian calendar. The introduction of fixed calendar, world seasonal calendar, leap week calendars, POX, symmetry 454, and Henry permanent calendar. Oh God, really have to. And see also. Okay, let me look through this. Henry permanent calendar is a proposal calendar. Yes. Every calendar day always falls on the same day. Yes, son. This is more like a bit of a fix, son. I don't know if it's gonna really help, but hey, at least it's a modern calendar in the 21st century, so at least they're looking at trying to solve this. But then you have the 454. What the? Is a proposal calendar created by Ivory Bromberg of the University of Toronto. Has symmetrical equal quarters in 82% of the years in the 293 years cycle and starts every month on Monday. Okay, yeah. Yet it's still following the whole Gregorian calendar as a performance that is something different. But you have the world count, which I do wonder if it really is. Yeah, it's proposed to reform the Gregorian calendar by Elizabeth in 1930. Okay, so even when it came to this, it's religious objections. Wow. Yeah. Well, it having a bit of controversy. Yeah, pretty much skimming through this one, religious objections. Like when it comes to many of the Abrahamic religions, they have issues when it comes to the holidays and such. It's like, yeah, yeah. Even having a world calendar, it's still a bit of a picky thing. That's the reason why other religious customs and cultural customs don't follow their own calendars. Yeah, man, it's not perfect, but yeah, looks like everybody's trying to find a way to solve it. And even then in the modern day, people still try to figure out what to do with following accurate calendar dates. Now you see also one, there's the Doomsday Rule, which what the hell? French Revolutionary Calendar, yeah, April calendar, yeah. ISO 8601, yeah, pretty much follow that. And pretty much it. The precursors to the Gregorian calendar, yeah, you pretty much have these. You have a bunch of notes, and that is for the page. Okay, I got it right on time. The Doomsday Rule. Let's read this. It's algorithm determination of the day of the week for a given day. Okay, I think this will be a lot to follow. I'll keep this page here for next time. But that is pretty much it. Next time, I figured I'll just... What is it? I already finished the Gregorian calendar. I have the ISO and Julian calendar. But, you know, I obviously just want to move on. Because it seems like my stayingness here is being overwhelmed. But, yeah, that's something I'm working on. But, anyhow, aloha.